Welcome back to The Creative Lens. Today, Todd V is joining Jake and Colden to ask whether the new Insta360 X6 could be the perfect BTS camera. Sony just dropped a high-end exposure tool into their free monitor and control app, which begs the question, what is the best way to nail proper exposure every time? Plus, ASU just launched a new content creator degree. Do you think I can take a class on how to take the perfect selfie? HBO Max goes vertical, and Spider-Man Brand New Day breaks box office records. Let's get into it.
Yo, welcome to The Creative Lens. Todd, thank you so much for joining us. Jake, it's good to see you back here with a normal internet connection. We got this rocking this week.
You know, just gotta love some technical difficulties.
I love it. But we've got a lot to talk about today. I'm so excited to dig into this ASU thing because I was looking at the course curriculum online and so many fun things that you could waste your money on in a degree like that.
And of all schools, ASU.
Yeah. Well, it's
of
a perfect
all schools. I want to learn how to be an influencer at ASU. Oh,
100%.
My God.
100%.
Yeah.
That, and we've got, so we're going to dig into first this camera launch that's coming out next week, the Insta360 X6. I already did a big deep dive. We're not going to go super technical, although my brain loves to go super technical, but already did that video. You guys can watch that if you want the full rumors on that. It's an 8K, maybe 50, 60. We don't know quite how high the frame rates are going to go. 8K, 360, 10-bit log. What else you've got in there? They've got one over 1.1 inch sensors. So they're calling it 1 inch imaging. They're not quite fully 1 inch by 1 inch, but what do you guys think about this? I know Todd, you're fully in on this Luna.
I've got a question.
You got thoughts? Yeah.
Well, because I saw someone post on YouTube just like in the last day or two talking about this camera specifically, and he's claiming it's 8K and 8K, or it could be with firmware updates so it would be a 16K camera. Like, because
that
I love that with the asterisks, firmware updates.
That leads right back into our show from 2 weeks ago. Is like, it's just all, it will get there eventually, bro. Just buy our camera right now.
Just yeah.
Okay. I will say though, because I'm a Luna man, Insta has been amazing with the firmware updates. They are just, I mean, it's been like, you know, no camera's perfect, but it's just getting closer and closer. Like every week, it's like, oh, download the new update. And it's like, wow, these are actually beneficial features. So I have a lot of faith that you're going to have the camera you've been dreaming for, Jake, is right around the corner. It's a 16K 360. Go. It's yours.
So on my video, there was a comment by Cliffix. Cliff does a bunch of, I mean, he's like, I think I do nerdy breakdown deep dives. Cliff knows too much about sensor technology and resolution. So we were kind of getting into just going back and forth on what it would take to have that amount of resolution in a camera. I don't think we're there yet. I think this is, and and he actually explained it very well. These sensors to get to 8K of a full 360 sphere is actually reading more like 6K and 6K, putting it together. And then you kind of have to drop off a lot of that overlapping and warping from a 180-degree lens. And so it gets you down to an 8K sensor. So we're talking more like having a full 8K and 8K to get you to like 12K, which is what I've been asking for. That would be my 360 camera to want to buy for sure. Yeah. I don't think we are there yet, just because imagine the amount of processing you would need.
I was going to say it'll overheat in 5 minutes, but that's cool.
Yeah.
You had a clip queued up for this.
I didn't. I had. Well, let me do this. I've got their. So this is their announcement video. I tied it together with some stuff so it can play while we're talking about it. But I think kind of my breakdown on this is, you know, obviously they're pushing a lot of these colors. So I think that gives us 10-bit, which to me as an X4 user, 10-bit, like the colors don't look very good on older Insta360 models. So I really think that having 10-bit in this camera is going to be a huge step up. The other thing going from the 4 to this 6 that I believe the 5 already had is the removable or replaceable lenses. That's huge for these cameras. I think that's going to be a big win coming from my 4 and potentially upgrading. If you've already got replaceable lenses in the 5, is it that big of a deal? I don't know. It's going to be harder to want to justify a 5 to a 6 upgrade. But if you've got a 3 or a 4, or you don't have one yet,
like me,
or you don't have one yet. Yeah, exactly. I think this could be a really interesting camera. The other thing, and I'll go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say there was a clip you shared.
I'll put in a minute because that's interesting. That just came up. But I thought this is the other video that Insta360 put out. These guys nailed their marketing, and they are going after the pocket cameras, which I thought was really, really interesting. And I can try and pull the tweet up, but they're literally saying this can be your pocket camera. It's every angle, every tracking, whatever you want it to do. This is the one thing, it'll do all of it. And to me, that's, we've all talked about these pocket cameras, how great they are. But if you lose tracking, you lose, like if you set your camera up on a tripod and you walk away and you're having it track you and it happens to lose that track, unless you're with the screen, which is really cool on the Ultra, it stops moving and then you lose the shot. Here it'll just keep tracking you and you don't lose anything. The hardest part, Jake, we've talked about this. The hardest part for me that is still the pain point on the 360 cameras is just going to be how much editing time you have to spend to get to the footage. The coolest part about the Luna Ultra or the 4P or even my Pocket 3 is just once you hit record and stop, you have the footage. So that's where it's like, do you want to edit and have everything, or do you just want to hit edit, hit stop, and be done?
And my question on this is like, is it connected with the mics? If we are going to use this as a behind the scenes camera, is there a mic hookup, a Bluetooth mic setup? Like, how do we record good audio on this? Because look, I've flirted with getting a 360 camera for behind the scenes for a couple of years now, for several years, because I see a lot of guys do it really well. And that's my kind of biggest question, because I think this solves that framing for vertical, framing for horizontal, because it's 360. So you can kind of do whatever the heck you want.
It's my favorite part about these cameras, for sure.
My biggest question would be how is the editing workflow? And like in terms of ease, could you do a TikTok versus a YouTube, and then how does it work with audio?
So let me see where we are at here. Let me show you this. Hold that off. Hold on. Here we go.
While you're getting there, I was going to say too, to your previous point, the problem with these for me, I have one. I have the DJI one.
Yeah.
I like to shoot for the edit, as you were describing. It's really kind of a pain sometimes to spend a ton of time in the edit when you're being a content creator, where it's like, I always plan to shoot for the edit. Like, I don't need extra footage. I don't want more than I need. I want to be able to go into my edit suite and go bam, 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 publish.
Yeah.
This is a barrier. The other side of it is everything you're saying. It is incredible, because when I've played with mine, I'm like, man, it's what, Jake, you would love it for BTS. Like, you not only are you can show yourself working, but then you can show the area you're at. You can show it. It is a phenomenal tool for BTS. It's extra.
And I look at it
for sure.
And I look at it from a street photography standpoint. Like, put this on top of the rig, on your shoulder, like wherever you want as a street photographer. And especially this newest model looks, it looks a lot more low profile than, they're getting it smaller and smaller, which I think is a great advantage.
Yeah. I really like this new body style. And this is what I was saying on their X account. This is the marketing team really kind of going after any of these pocket, gimbals. You want a point and shoot camera? Done. You want a gimbal style vlogging with tracking? easy. Like they just nailed what, we were talking about. What's your all-in-one package? And I just think they nailed it with that cell, because there's so much freedom. Depending on what you're shooting, obviously you don't have as much precise control. But when I use these and I don't have to think about my framing, you just kind of think about where the camera is in space. It's pretty cool. Like, especially traveling action, if you're performing or, you're doing the thing that you're trying to capture, man, not having to worry about what frame you've got or make sure, because the GoPros always, man, I've done like the chest mounted GoPro where it's just, you're on a bike or something and it's tilted down just a little bit. You just have the gas tank for like an hour and a half.
And I've had that with photography, where it's like, it's just, the camera's just above the little, Insta360. And I'm like, well, this is not what I want. I need it like in my mouth.
Right.
How do I do that? Or I need but then on the head, it's a little too high.
Too high.
And I'm exactly. Like, how do we do this? So,
the only thing I'll say,
be an interesting solution.
The only thing I'll say with that is you still have to kind of be aware of where the camera is in space, because I've noticed, right, if you put the camera too high, even you can tip it down, but it's still too high if you put it too low. So you end up with the same kind of issues. But what I'm saying, the problem that a 360 in those scenarios does solve is the tilt, the like pan and tilt when you're setting the camera and it's just tilted down a little too high. Well, now you can tilt it back up if it's panned the wrong way. So those are the things that the 360 reframing is really cool at. What I was going to show you, though, Jake, to answer your question, is just as a hint, at least, when you go to Insta360's website, they put all this, their teaser information out already. I appreciate that we know a week in advance that this thing's coming and they're going to have a launch event. We'll see. This is better than like, we're launching it at Cannes. Just kidding. We'll see you later. So if you go into this, you do the intro. What they are teasing here is that they're going to give away some stuff. They'll give away the X5. They'll give away the Mic Pro. And then you get 5% off of the X6. The fact that they built this microphone system, which I know, Todd, you're more invested than either of the two of us are in the Insta360 world. I think this is the first 360 camera that they're launching after having this microphone out in hands as a release, which, Jake, to your point, like, I would assume you could sync this up with, that's the coolest part, is you can have a full,
it would be, and that would be,
or anything.
There's no way they're not doing that. There's no way it's not. I mean, I actually think that was launched with the Luna as well. This Mic Pro.
Yes.
Because I think you could buy a kit with it when they launched. I believe that was a thing. And the fact, like you just said, the fact that they've made this mic system, there's no way that this isn't going to be compatible, that this is what they're selling.
It would be highly illogical.
Highly illogical. Just to quote
Mr.
Spock. I do love that e-ink too. Like, I know people think that's a bulky mic and it's a little bit, but it is so cool, especially if you put it on, like, one of my favorite things is using it as like a microphone. Like, you can put it on, you can get these dummy microphone plastic handles, and now your brand is on the microphone. Or if you're working for a customer, just change the image, and it's such a cool thing that no one ever thought about.
Well, especially if they're selling this as, replace your vlog camera, replace your point and shoot, replace your this, replace your that. They have to have some sort of mic integration with it.
For certain.
It doesn't make sense that they wouldn't.
100%. And also that mic, it's gotten a lot of hate. I think it's gotten better. The sound is pretty good. I'm not using that. I'm using a DJI mic right now, but I use that mic, but it has some features where you can actually configure it to work like a shotgun mic. So you could mount it and it's directional. It will also do front and back. So like if you're interviewing someone, you can get your voice and their voice.
Wow.
And the way they've designed that mic, it's very clever, or it will do omnidirectional. So it's pretty cool system. Like
awesome.
Sound is a little tinny compared to DJI, but I feel like it's gotten much better. In my most recent ones, I'm like, sounds pretty good. Like I'm not picking it up like it was initially.
Yeah, I think the sound's improved for sure. It's still not my favorite mic body to use. I'll be interested to see, you know, it's always interesting to see companies, what they come out with for V1 and then what they totally scrap and change into V2. And DJI has seemed like, because they just released their new, you've got 32-bit float in the new mic Mini 2s. I think those just dropped like 2 days ago. I didn't pay attention to it because it's doesn't do anything for me, but they've chased this like very small square thing. Like they've kept that, and then you can flip out, you know, Insta360 did this e-ink. DJI is going the other side. They'll say you can have a different plastic color thing that goes on clips on top or magnets on top. I like the e-ink more than just a different color because you've still got DJI branded all over it. So I'm with you. I think the e-ink is cool. It's a to me, it just looks like a gimmicky, you know, I'm looking at it right now. We can put this back up. It just looks like a gimmicky little thing that you have to wear. If you're wearing it already, and I know that this is part of ASU's course that we're all going to go take, but it's just normalizing the fact that all of these people are wearing these stupid microphones. But everyone, and Jake,
that
you
is
and
the
I,
look, you know, that is the modern look of what we're at right now is the ease of use, you know, and it is kind of what it is, but like, you know, that they have the integration is going to be great.
Well, to Jake's point, that not only is it the modern look, the fact that, look, I love my Sennheisers, but you know what they don't have? Noise cancellation. The fact that these things are so effective at giving you clean audio in a noisy environment is insanity. I shot a commercial at a grocery store. Always been a pain in my backside because there's meat coolers running and there's noise and there's people with carts. I turned that on, and when the girl was doing her read, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can hear her crisp and clean. I could still hear ambient tone, but nothing like an old traditional mic system. So, you know, they are very effective at their job in a different way. Like, as you said, yes, Sennheisers, the old stuff, they're rock solid for a reason. And they last for years and years and years. And they don't have internal batteries that wear out. But the tech in these things is stupid.
Yeah, it's getting better and better every day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes to, you know, Todd, what you were saying is, are you shooting for fast delivery? Because to me, I don't want that. And I'm maybe biased in thinking that a big computer does something better than a tiny little microphone, and everything, like you said, is getting better. But I don't want my tiny little Insta360 microphone that's supposed to be a microphone also doing the noise processing in the background. I'll leave that to DaVinci Resolve or to Adobe to process that better. It's like the same thing as, do I want a camera with a bunch of built-in noise reduction in my camera? No, I'd rather have a raw image and then do whatever noise reduction I need in post. Because you see Insta360 is super guilty of that. Is like, I've seen some of their new footage, I guess, from their nighttime footage from this X6, and it looks like a lot of heavy noise reduction put on it. So that's just
I'm going to be devil's advocate jerk right now. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when you guys were giving me a lecture about how much I hate vertical video? And you said, you guys were like, are you being egotistical or are you going to deliver to the client? How's my audio right now? Just checking.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you know what I'm sitting right next to? A giant furnace that is blasting wind right now, and you cannot hear it.
Yeah.
So
impressive.
And
look, I have to say, I'm just going to throw in a little plug for Hollyland. You know, I have the Lark Max Mark IIs, or I don't know. Their naming always confuses me, but they're nicer professional versions. And, you know, you get the standard kind of, you know, modern lav look, but they have an attachment where you can plug in an actual lavalier microphone. And if you want to like drop some dollars on it, you can go get a really high-end mic. And then, but also now your receiver is this big, clips onto your belt, clips on this. It's much easier to hide, and it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah,
like you have a digital readout. I have a digital readout to go, how much battery life does my receiver have and my transmitter have? And like things that my Sennheisers don't. And so, you know, my little plug for Hollyland.
No, you're right.
That will
You're
be
right.
the only, that'll be the only pocket microphone I'm buying. They have to keep those microphone in jacks, because the ones that don't, I'm with you. I want a lavalier when I need it. And if I don't need it, fine, but I want to have the option.
But I can tell you this from working with like my wife, who's a content creator, and that she can have good audio for under $100 and just put it on her, you know, clip. Or my mother, when she's at an art show and can have good audio for under $100, one-time fee, you plug in your phone, plug in there, and there's no thinking, there's no settings, there's no batteries. All you have to do is make sure it just goes back in the case, and you occasionally plug in the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like my wife, for the longest time, didn't even realize you charged the case. She's like, I don't know. I just thought they just lasted, you know? And, but like, it shows the ease of use where we are with audio gear more than ever, where, you know, audio gear, I felt like, you know, you had some improvements, like, you know, with shotgun mics and lavs, but like compared to what camera gear was constantly evolving, and audio gear was like, yeah, we're kind of just, you know, doing our thing. And it was like the Sennheiser 416 was like the industry standard for, you know, 2 decades or whatever it was. And now it's just, you have this such ease of use with audio gear. And yeah, the look is, for us filmmakers, it's a little silly. But, you know, we are a much smaller percentage of the audience and the buying market versus anybody who wants to create any type of content in any niche.
Yeah. So last topic on this new Insta360, actually not last topic, because we have to cover this because it's insane. Here's a little bit of like weird breaking news. Right before we went live, it's not breaking, it was a couple hours ago, but before we went live, check my phone just to see, and I like pull up Instagram, and on Instagram, I see this, which is DJI. Like, watch this video. It's wild. It's posted 2 hours ago. And we've all been asking kind of like, all right, DJI, where are you at? And so it's a teaser. Every side is a big scene. DJI Osmo 360 II, appointments open August 7th. So Insta360 just launched their, you know, the X6. They said it's coming out on the 12th. DJI just today was like, we're going to leapfrog you now. And now we're going to launch ours on the 7th, tomorrow. So, and I love this comment. Guys, are we really doing the camera war thing again?
Yeah.
So the comments are wild on it.
That's 2 in 1 year. This 360 came out just this year, didn't it? If I bought it, it's not that old.
The X5 isn't that old. So that's the weird thing on all of these is like, they're not that old, maybe a year, but I just thought this was funny. It's like, all right, we're doing this, like, who's going to beat who first? And of course, I think the response to this comment was like, well, in the US, we don't really have the same choices, which is fair. We'll see. I mean, maybe Extra can drop this one. I don't know, but
to this, now that you've taken this little side departure, I would like to bring up a little bit of what I think is weirdly breaking news, because, you know, you and I have spoken to Sophie on my channel, and she just put up a thing today about the Muse 2 Pro, and she said in her thing, find out how you can get yours at launch in August. And I was like, what? I need to follow up with her, but that's a whole new other 180 from Muse is out of business to we're relaunching in August. So heads up, everybody. That seems to be a thing.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So
Currently targeted. I'm just doing a quick search. All I'm seeing is that it's, and it's this is all kind of old news. Follow up with Sophie, because I would be so interested if that was a scheduled post, or because I know everybody that I've talked to
maybe
said that Extra reached out to them and they said, stop promoting this camera, just go back to promoting the Muse. So
yeah,
interesting, because I don't see any new update from any reputable source. So yeah, I'd be interested if they gave Sophie different information. But the last question I've got for you guys, Todd, especially as somebody who already has the Luna, Jake as somebody who doesn't have either of these pocket gimbals or a 360, really, are you buying it? And what is the price point? Because that was the one thing I said in my video, is I would be very tempted to upgrade from the X4. There's enough new stuff in this one that would make it cool, but at what price? Because the X5 right now is on B&H for $550, $549. So what price can they, and we know that Insta360 likes, I mean, they set that Luna very high in comparison to what the 4P and the Muse were pricing at. So are you buying it, and for what price is reasonable?
I'm not right now, only because, as you know, I foolishly went on a buying spree of DJI products as I was afraid everything was going away forever. And I bought that DJI 360, and it is serving me quite well. And it has 10-bit, and it does connect with the microphone, and it wasn't that expensive. I want to say it was closer to $450 or $4. I can't remember when I bought it. It was a very good price point, which made it less pinchy. This price, I'm like, this is a little like, because as we've talked about, I prefer my pocket cameras and the tracking that works for me to that. And this camera, I don't use as much. I like it, but I just don't use it as much. So at $550, that's a little like, it's a lot for an accessory.
Yeah.
Jake?
And that's the same way where, like, in theory, it's like, yeah, but I've been burnt so many times between GoPros, even Insta360, of just like, I bought their like Go 3 with the small little nano camera, and it just collects dust. And like, I tried to use it on I actually did. Yeah. I just used it on a little golf shoot, but like, okay, 1 out of every 30, 40, 50, 60 clients, like the odd job. And so I go, oh, I'm going to shoot all this behind the scenes with it. And I go, like, I'm not doing street photography these days, like, as much as I would love to, but I'm like, I'm not doing that. Would I bring it to set and just go get a monopod, stick it down in the middle, and like get a couple frames? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Like, it would be because it's such a different UI that I'm used to, that like I'd have to be honest, it would be something that I'd have to be like willing to like buy on Amazon and take potential full advantage of their return policy.
Yeah. Well, you've also been burned before, because you were
so many times.
You were in the GoPro system, which will bite you. Also, Matt, what's up? Welcome. I'm glad you're here. We actually just shouted you out, man. If you just joined in, I had your comment on Instagram from the DJI launch. So I don't know if you guys are seeing the comments, but Matt, it's good to see you here, man. And yeah, we just shouted you out over here too. So appreciate you being here. If you've been burned by the GoPro system on the 360, it's just,
not only that, just on action cameras, these small little cameras, like in general, I'm like, every 2-3 years I buy a new one, and I go, this is going to be different. I'm going to use this. And then I just don't use it. And look, things might change. I'm not opposed to, like, I hope that I would use it and take advantage of the gear. But
well, to be fair, but Jake, you are you are a guy who works on larger productions. You're not messing around. You're like a director, right? You're not like a guy like me who's like content creating silly stuff on the regular, because that's where these cameras come into play.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I know what I need is I need a good behind the scenes camera, but that's also easy to edit, because, and I know, but this is more intriguing. Like, it's the tracking or the 360. It's like, what is going to be better for me? But where I can like sit it on some sort of tripod, monopod system, and I can be like, okay, great. Here we go. I want you to do this. And so it's capturing me while I'm walking around. I walk to client, I talk to client, but it's also not obtrusive. And if I can't afford to pay somebody to shoot behind the scenes, or I could give a camera to a PA, to a friend who is not skilled, but I'm like, hey, for a couple $100, can you just make sure the camera faces in my direction? You know
what you need? Here, I'm going to put the pitch out.
Yeah.
The Luna is where you want to be. But seriously, the deep tracking on that. My wife doesn't know. She's always afraid. I was doing this review of a lens, and I said, just click the joystick. I said, is there a green box around my face? She goes, yep. I said, fine. And just hold it in that general area.
As long as the green box is on my face, we're all good.
That's all she had to do. She's like, okay, fine, do your thing. That's what you want. Put it on a green box.
And that's where I want to just make sure it can be framed for vertical, because most of 80-90% of my stuff, I need it for TikTok or I need it for Instagram. And it's just that every time I'm on set, I don't even take phone behind the scenes photos or anything, because I'm working.
Yeah.
So I need something that I can that is the least obtrusive, the least resistant to just an ease of use to be able to capture what I need.
Always been my problem. It's the same problem, but on a small scale. When you're the only guy, you're a director working with a crew. When you're the only guy, I need that too. And I have not done it for years. So to have this now as a tool is a game changer. I have so much more footage of me at work that I could show my clients, like, look, I do work.
And that's the thing. I do a lot of stuff by myself also. I do a lot of solo crew stuff, and and bringing lights and this and that, and I don't have time to think about behind the scenes, but I'm like, it is more needed than ever.
Yes.
Colden, you've been dying to say something on.
Well, I was, yeah. And we'll rewind back a little bit, but Todd, if you trust your wife even less, the funnier bit, which is a bad thing to have to jump into here. Welcome anybody who's joining in.
Hopefully not my wife.
See, or you really don't. If you want to just be like, you're my human tripod for the day, but I trust you for nothing else. You could even detach that screen and you could walk around with it, which to me was the funniest part. It's like, I don't even trust you to hit record right, so I'm going to take this screen with me. And that's the benefit to the Luna. That removable screen is killer. I do think it feels like the pocket gimbal cameras, ease of use, like you could hand it to pretty much everybody. The opposite side, though, is that the 360 cameras literally, they don't even have to worry about framing or getting you in the shot. All you have to do is tell them to hit the red button and then point hold the camera out at hopefully you, and you can reframe it. The thing I've struggled with is just, when you're cutting down, and there was an article that I referenced in my video about the X6 was you're only getting 2.7K out of 8K on a best case scenario reframing. So Jake, for you might not even notice that resolution drop if you're going to a vertical TikTok, because all you need is 1080. Cool, done. Ship it, it's done. When I'm trying to take, I tried to do a vlog with that 360 camera, and when you're trying to cut it next to anything else that's actually shooting in 4K, you notice it on your timeline. That to me is the hard part, which is they're so good, but for kind of different things. My thing is
and that's, I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
where I definitely see the use cases in both. Like they're
Yeah.
also just stylistically different. You know, I see the use case of a 360 on those monopod things, and if you put it next to you and you're moving around it, it's tracking with you in a cool way, or it can just, you know, you can get a 360 pan around, or, you know, any of the fun also gimmicky shots that a 360 can get you. Great.
Yeah.
But it's not going to also look like one of your the gimbal pocket cameras. That's going to give you that more traditional pocket, you know, just camera look of, hey, we're going here. Okay, good. Now we're panning. Now we're panning. Now we're tilting. Like, it's going to give you that traditional look. And both have pros and cons.
Yep. I don't know, Todd, if you saw this. Matt's shouting out your concept as well. Battery grip for that screen, because that's what I was going to say. What for my use case is, and Jake, I'm the same as you, where I forget to take photos or videos. I start working and then I'm in shoot mode for the rest of the day, and I forget to go back and check. So a removable screen for the Luna would be great. Something like, oh, I can hit record, I can stop, I can make sure it's still tracking me. Cool. But how long really can that last unplugged? It's not going to last my whole shoot day, that's for sure, especially if I'm trying to check every, 5-10 minutes. So Matt, I'm with you, man. If you could get, I even commented on Small Rigs. I think Small Rig was like, look, we have this connection grip thing for the Luna. I was like, can you just make a recharge? Like, I know you make batteries and stuff. Can you just make a rechargeable clip-on thing for the Luna screen? Because that would be killer.
And it should run off of Sony batteries, those robust, what are they, the NPs or whatever. Just smack
the ones
one
that
of those
are bigger
on.
and hevier than the actual Luna.
Don't even care.
Beam out.
It'll run all day. Boom.
Yeah.
Matt, you're 100% correct. Now, I will say though, in their defense, that's one of the things they fixed in firmware. The screen is 100% charged when I take it off now. It's not decharging through the day. So when I pop it off, now it's starting to use its battery, which is a huge improvement. But still, again, I don't know how long it can actually run unconnected. Having it in a little handle, money. Whoever does that, find me, send me an email. You can take my money.
Yeah, Todd will be the first one with the credit card down.
Let's go. And I'll do a review. Let's go.
Yep. And he'll glow about it. He'll do a glowing review because he's wanted it since he bought the Luna. I think day one on the launch, you were like, I just need this. So that would add to it. Okay, so let's jump now. I want to ask you guys, because this is a conversation Todd and I had. I did a video about it, and I really want y'all's thoughts because you're working professionally with a bunch of different cameras. I will talk about a glowing review. We've talked on this channel about my light meter. Every single professional set that I go on that I'm either the director of photography or I'm kind of like a little bit of everything where I'm also kind of having to gaff. I will bring that to make sure that my lights are properly exposed before I turn my camera on. It's one of my favorite ways of making sure that my exposure is dialed in. And Todd called me out yesterday on his show for being an old fart. And nobody uses those anymore.
Nobody uses those anymore.
I admit that when you learn on film, that's what I had to do, was learn on 16 millimeter film. We didn't have the same exposure tools now that we're all kind of blessed with in these. So my safe space is my light meter, but I'm interested in what you guys are using, if anything. How do you lock in? Is it just you're checking it on the monitor? And you guys in the chat too, let me know what you guys are using to make sure you're exposed properly.
I'm going to be an asshole and just say, I'm just using my monitor like a total asshole. And more from the standpoint,
you're not, brother, unless we are both that. So go ahead.
Well, more from the standpoint of, and this is kind of, you could say and look, I don't consider myself a DP, because I have friends who are true DPs, like yourself, Colden, who that is what they do. I have several friends who are professional, top level DPs. I consider myself a director. So However, with client work, I end up having to DP a lot because we're not working on large commercials with, tens of thousands of dollars worth of budgets and, large crews. But I know the capabilities of my cameras that I shoot on. And when I've gotten hosed is when I use a camera that I am not familiar with, because I then also do a lot of editing. I know where my highlights are getting screwed, where my shadows are getting fucked. Like I've done enough of the workflow from top to bottom to know what my camera's capable of. And so, yes, I have zebras on my Canon, but like at this point, they're just more annoying than anything because they're like 70% or something like that. So like there's still a lot more latitude, but I don't know. I haven't dialed that in again, because I'm not a DP. I haven't dialed in like, okay, yeah, that's the right time when the zebras need to kind of click in and give me like a heads up. Hey, but then occasionally on my Blackmagic, I have false color. So, I will be able to use that. But then I go, wait, I'm constantly having to look at the degradation chart and just be like, wait, what is in exposure? What is not in exposure? I'm so confused because I don't use it enough. So otherwise histograms, when I remember. Histograms is probably like, if I am going to check, it's that. That was my long-winded explanation. Sorry.
I dig it. Todd, what are your thoughts?
I'm fully in Jake's camp on this because I talked about this on my channel. I didn't start with film. When I started with film, I was like a wee lad, and we were shooting with my dad's Super 8 camera. And, he would just get the film and we would have fun and make stop motion films and do all sorts of stupid stuff. And it was like 3 minutes at a time, right? Very low danger of money being lost. When I started doing this professionally, I started with DV. So I was already in the digital. I never worked in film professionally. And to Jake's point, pretty much if my screen, my viewfinder, my monitor is properly exposed, I know my product is going to work. So I worry about lighting the scene and making sure that's good. And if it's good, then I'm good. And especially in this glorious age with built-in ND filters and all of the other things, you're just like, I know I've got a good image. And then my other escape route is, as much as I can, I love shooting in one of these log formats because it's, to me, just like shooting in RAW in photo. As long as it's good on my viewfinder, I know I can do whatever I need to in post. So the viewfinder is my light meter. I haven't had that burn me till I started working with this Luna, until they put that false color on. Once they added that false color, then I was like, oh, I haven't had one problem since. But before that, I couldn't tell if I was overexposed or not.
When you say false color, you just mean a LUT overlay of
a LUT overlay, yeah,
Rec.
like
7, Rec. 709,
yeah,
right?
where it's like you could see the color that's supposed to be happening. Yeah, false color. You're right. It's that other wacky thing. You're right. I used the wrong. Where I look at that and I'm like, you got to be like
on wacky mushrooms. Thing called false color.
You got to be on mushrooms to understand what's even happening there. Just be clear. Well, for regular
legit,
people.
you said false color in the Luna. I went Insta360 just built in false color.
Likewise.
Colden, I misspoke. But that overlay.
Rec. 709 LUT.
Yeah. Because now that I can see it, I'm like, yep, I know exactly what I'm dealing with here. And before that, I did get screwed. But on my Sonys and stuff, I could tell like, oh, that is wonky, the S-Log. And man, S-Log is sometimes a pain to work with. It's a tricky monster because the color science, you really need to know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a colorist. I stepped away from using S-Log for a long time. I was like, I'm just going to go back to sort of low saturation and go from there. But I'm with Jake. Viewfinder is my light meter.
And Colden?
Well, I was going to say, Todd, this is S-Log 3 right now. My camera's in S-Log 3 right now. So it's got a display LUT that I created specifically with this light and this studio overlaid on top of it. So it looks like this. But you nailed it, where that's kind of been that's where I've lived. You get to clipping, it's gone and it's never coming back. And if you clip out your sky, you know, we've all shot that, right? Like you have just a clipped sky and you go, oh shoot, it's just, you start to play with your levels in post and you bring down your highlights and it's just like this gray, awful looking sky. And so that's where I'm like, that's where I get nervous about trusting a monitor to tell me the difference between 95% and 102. I can't with my eye on a monitor that I don't know is calibrated. So we were kind of talking about this on your show, Todd, and I just wanted to kind of bring up, this is with the ZR. There's a couple of different ways of monitoring with the ZR app. There's a third-party app I use on the ZR. So this is like waveforms, right? And this is
hold
to
on.
me.
Wait. My head's hurting right now. Your camera's feeding S-Log to StreamYard and we're getting full color. What's happening in the interim? I
moved on to this and you're like, wait.
What's happening between the steps?
So the HDMI HDMI out on the A7S III can bake in a LUT to the display monitor. Basically, if you're running an HDMI out to your director,
he's coloring it before it goes.
That is wild, dude. That is awesome.
So the nerdy
so that's why you see his color tones are a little stronger than mine. I'm going a Rec 709 look right out of my camera because I'm lazy and I'm, but that's why his skin tones look a little better than mine, in my opinion. And
I just thought it was prettier.
My skincare, it's just my skincare routine.
It's also that Florida sun, he's got that great golden bronze.
No, Todd, to get slightly nerdy for a second, before we started this show at all, when I got everything kind of set up, I literally sat here like this with my color checker chart and I held it up and I did a couple of different tests of it. And then what I did was I brought this in to Resolve. You guys can do this too. Anybody that wants to screenshot this. And I just made my own overlay LUT, display LUT, with matching those colors on my color checker chart to the most accurate usable colors, and then loaded that back onto the A7S III and it displays out. But the nice thing about that is it still records S-Log 3. So if I ever wanted to bring this in for a clip, it's the Rec 709 conversion. We just dove off of the cliff into nerdy talk. But
you are an old fart, apparently. Okay, we can proceed now with 100%. Your discussion.
Now we can go back.
Well, hold on. We got a great question here. I want to go back and answer this question because we're just talking about it right now. So, Colden, what camera are you using for your podcast?
We have zero continuity on this show for anybody.
I know.
We're all over the place. So I just said I have the A7S III as my A cam kind of for this shoot.
And I'm using the Canon R6 Mark II. And Todd?
I'm using the DJI Pocket Osmo Pocket 3.
So you tell us, guys, which do you like the most?
Well, what I've found is interesting because mine always looks a little washy when I live with the webcam is a little washy. Yeah. So when I do my own streams, I actually can go in and punch up the color after in post.
So the hard part, so the fix on that, Todd, although I'm not sure how much latency you introduce, but if you pulled, again, here, let's go nerdy here, but anybody that wants to start their own podcast here, I like that. Do that again.
Nerd alert.
We're going to clip that, and that'll be a new segment.
Yeah.
Basically, Jake, anytime I start talking, just pull that sound effect, and that'll just be my nerd alert, my air horn. So you could hook up your webcam to OBS, put a LUT or a display, like a display LUT on OBS, and then use the virtual webcam out of OBS into any of these. Now you've got basically display LUTs through OBS. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very nerdy, but that's another way to do it.
Like my camera doesn't blur out. Like I've got Jake's 15-year-old computer as often as possible now. I need to add a third step in there.
Yeah, exactly. That it's how much processing power do you have? Because you will inherit some processing to do that. But I have used it before. Before I had like this whole setup, I would put stream in through OBS, and then out through the webcam.
And that's the thing, Todd. It's just getting better, a little better each time. Don't worry about it. You know, it doesn't have to be overnight where you overhaul everything. You know, this studio, I mean, if you go back and we talk about, Colden and I talk about this all the time. You know, my studio build out was over 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And like,
go back and watch episode 1 and
episode 2, episode 3.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, Jake looks so unprofessional. And like, but every week I just got like a little better. And then, you know, 7, 8 episodes in, I was like, oh, I look legit now.
Yeah. Well, okay, hold on, because that is actually, and Todd, I think you always do a great job, but Jake, you just said you didn't change a camera from episode 1 to episode, where are we on? 18 now?
Just lighting.
So it's just lighting. And that is the moral of the story, is you look way more professional if you are in control of your lighting. It doesn't matter what, all the cameras are good. That's the going theme. That should be, if we rename the podcast ever, it's just going to be the all the cameras are good now podcast. We don't have to talk about cameras anymore because they're all good.
Right. I want to respond to, is it Jay Fana? Yeah. To that end, also, I don't know if you've ever watched my channel, but I use the same camera for my videos over there. And when it's not a webcam, the color's great, super rich, love it. It's just the webcam mode. Somehow, I don't know if it's pulling back for data rate or what. So I will have to play with the OBS and see what we get.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, though, too, like, this is a live stream. The point is to get to hang out and react to you guys, and like, it's not the same as a full, you know, one of your full-on videos either. But we are 10 steps above just a Zoom call. You know, that's where we could have started here, was a Zoom call.
That's where this did start. Colden just started with you and I FaceTiming.
You guys do have, you guys both have nice rich colors and deep blacks, and I look like I'm old-timey in a sepia tone film. So we'll see if we can fix that.
Okay, I like this. Matthew, I'm going to dive into it a little bit, because this was my thing too. This is why we brought this up, was exposing and trying to figure out because Todd mentioned it a minute ago too, is if you're in the Sony world and you're shooting an S-Log, it will ruin your life before you get good at it.
Yes.
And this is, I'm going to jump to, because we don't have this in Sony yet, but I alluded to this, Todd, on your show, and I love this tool. And Jake, it's going to blow your mind too. I think if you guys are used to shooting on red, so that was waveforms. This is the false color stuff, right?
Yes.
Where you have to be on acid to kind of understand what, like, I'm sure if you are high, this makes total sense, but I'm with you, Jake, that I have to,
I get it. And I'm not on drugs today.
But none of the colors really match to what your exposures are, and so it's all just kind of randomly picked.
Colden,
and like you said,
the camera still, for God's sake.
It's a manual 50mm lens. I'm not here to make everything beautiful.
I'm
just, I shot this in my backyard to demonstrate something to you guys. Calm down. Thank you for roasting.
Props to Map for the APS 30 gang or APS-C gang and the FX30.
Yes.
Go. Love it.
But look at this. So this is the coolest. This is something that Zinni Control, or the ZR app, brought over from Red cameras. This is now my favorite new way of exposing my ZR camera. So you can see up here, the zebras are set at 96%. So I know when we're there. These things are called traffic lights right here.
Oh, yeah.
And so Todd, we were talking about this. Jake, I don't know if you've used traffic lights before. So cool though. What you'll see is a red, green, and a blue channel. And each one the red right here tells me that each channel, red, green, and blue, have clipped. You can see that by the zebras.
Wow.
Now watch what happens though, as I bring the f-stop down. Don't look at the shaky camera, calm down. But watch what happens as I bring that down. Maybe. Yeah. See, so now those channels start to turn yellow. So we're up at the last 5%. And now you're in green, and we have perfect exposure in the sky, nothing.
And in the shadows.
And I've kept everything, because the other part of that traffic light down here is shadows.
As the kids do, clock it.
I don't even know what that means, bro. But this plus the zebras
is amazing.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
That is a massive game changer in terms of like, single use operator exposure. Just, it is professional use abilities at a like prosumer level. And
I mean, Red pioneered this. So this was like the traffic lights were all red.
I have never seen that. I've shot on one project on a Red years ago, but
yeah, they build it into their histogram in a way, but like this,
but that's just now on the Nikon cameras. That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
a function that I'm sure it's patented and why nobody else is using it. But that is
this is a third-party app that was created because Nikon doesn't have a monitor app. That's what's wild.
So can anybody have this?
Yeah. So okay, wait a bit. Back about. I don't know if you can develop this for other cameras. I know that something about the ZR and Nikon system allows for open API development. Sony may be more locked down than that. But to the long way around Matt's question is the other thing is Sony has introduced a bunch of really cool stuff in their monitor and control app. So same way that I've got all this on the ZR, on the FX3 or FX30, you've got a bunch of different ways to monitor this. And so, I'm sorry, Jake, I know you're Canon. I don't know what Canon's doing. And it's, it's a niche product, but you've got things like a waveform that you can drag around on your phone screen. You've got the traditional false color. You've got histogram, and you've got the zebras as well. And then they just added vector scopes as well, which if you care about kind of color and saturation, all of this, plus you've got multicam support. And the other thing that they just added, which we teased at the intro, which is kind of true, kind of not true, is they've just brought in EL Zone, which EL Zone is a false color that was developed by Ed Lockman, who's a cinematographer. So this is what EL Zone looks like. And I would argue like some of my Atmos monitors have EL Zone.
EL Zone and false color.
If you look, not much, but
I was gonna say, that looks like false color. But again,
totally.
Yes, except all of the colors that EL Zone maps are like make more sense on a spectrum. Like to me,
so
I look at this
less
image,
mushrooms, and you can figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably just that. But I look at this image
gradation rather than like, oh, it's all gray. All of the gray is ripe. And then it's like, boom, boom, like it's like great. Here's the natural fall off of
you get and what he built in was half a stop, and so kind of throwing back to my light meter video and Todd, what we talked about, kind of digging in, nerd alert. But you actually, what the EL Zone system does is instead of like percentages and kind of the weird thing that false color does, is it's literally a half a stop, a full stop, 2 stops, 3, 4, 5, and then black. And the same thing going up, half
just
a stop,
logical.
1, 2.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. And, going back to that video, if you want to go watch really nerd deep dive into light math, if you know how many stops over and under you are, you can actually stop down. You can put NDs on. It's not just some theoretical kind of gray number that you're on a monitor hoping to fix. And to me, just going from like red to purple, it's easier to look at that image and see what the hot parts are versus what the underexposed parts are, compared to, this one, which it kind of does that, but there's a lot of gray and purple and pink in weird places. And so I don't know. The fact that they added that in was cool. You do have to subscribe to their like pro membership, which everything's a subscription now. But if you want that, I know. But if you want that, it's the EL Zone is like something you have to is licensed out to only particular cameras or monitors. So it is cool that you are basically paying for that license and you get a bunch of other stuff. And I agree, man. If you haven't used it, the monitor and control app is 100% the best part of Sony cameras, I think.
Yeah.
So
Well, I can tell you this is that, this type of, education will not be at ASU in their content creator influencer program.
Yeah. We need to dig into that.
You don't need to worry about this if you're going to be going to ASU's influencer program.
Yeah. And Colden and I and Jake, you should join us. We're going to start a university that primarily focuses on how you take care of customers. The filmmaking is secondary. We can all make some films. Selling and taking care of customers and keeping them happy is really how you're successful.
The business side of art, that is the thing that's not discussed. I mean, that's why I have a secondary podcast outside of this called Move Faster, quick plug. But that's essentially all my lessons of the business side of this, which, again, I don't think, so there's this new ASU influencer program, a content creation bachelor of arts. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. First of all colleges to have this, I am the least surprised it's ASU. The absolute least surprised. ASU obviously is notoriously known as one of the biggest party schools in the country. And, that they have a content creation, look at this. Do you dream of monetizing your video channel or making social media your career? Learn to create powerful content across videos, podcasts, social media, and emerging platforms while building your brand with hands-on experience in Phoenix, Los Angeles, and online. You'll master the art and science of digital influence. This sounds like every other guru online
on
YouTube, but now it's out.
You can pay a lot of money.
Institution.
Yeah.
And it's a Bachelor of Arts. I mean, this is the Bachelor of Arts program in content creation prepares you to become an influencer and strategic storyteller who thrive in rapidly evolving creator economy. Program coursework emphasizes content planning, video and podcast production, global perspectives, and personal branding. Like, I'm sorry, but like, where is it? There's
Don't even get me started on the big college industrial complex, which is a complete sham.
Yeah, I mean, right here. Oh, these are the salaries, right? But like, the tuition information. I hadn't pulled this up before, but
it's crazy. I mean, yeah. If my quick plug here, don't do it. What a waste of money.
I mean, $14,000 is the average cost for this.
You know what you can do?
Sorry, no.
That's like a semester.
$40,000 for the first year.
Yeah.
To do this program, and obviously that includes housing, food, whatnot. But like, if you spend $40,000 in a year, yes, you can make it on YouTube. Just go make freaking YouTube videos. That's my perspective. I wanted to get your thoughts on this this curriculum.
I'll jump in and go first.
Well, let's jump in on this before we go into the curriculum.
I was going to ask you if you had that pulled up, because one of the classes that you can pay $40,000 a year to take is literally, this is not a joke, how to become an influencer. That is a class that you can take at ASU.
Right here.
It's insane. All their elected official things are nuts. That one was maybe the most egregious to me.
On camera presence.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
But how to become an influencer? That's just their topic. Oh, that's the topic with the classes underneath it. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have one where they teach you to do this?
Oh,
is that a class? I want to be clear.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Little ASMR. You can learn how to ASMR. YouTube apparently just pulled down 10,000 ASMR.
I feel like we're in a cut scene of Accepted. Do you remember that movie?
I was going to say Idiocracy, but sure. Another great movie.
But it's like, hey, we're taking 355 podcasting and audio storytelling. Oh yeah, but it's my Friday morning class. You know, or I'm going to take 307, the digital audience. You know,
what I was,
you know,
so what I was interested in though, and a little shocked, not a single class in here, as absurd as interpersonal influence would be as a class, nothing about AI or AI optimization or how to utilize AI in any of this. I would assume they would be so heavily invested in the AI platform, but I didn't see any of that. So maybe props to that. I just think this is the dumbest, there's a lot of just silly ways to go waste money at college that will never translate to financial success. I just feel like this is one of those ones where if you want to go start a podcast, go start a podcast. It's free. Do it on your phone and learn. YouTube is free.
Yeah.
Instagram is free. So if you want to learn how these things work,
now
do it for free.
I will say this though. I will say this. Having gone to film school, the only advantage of a program like this is that you meet your podcast co-host and you guys both work your butt off together. You meet, you know, we're Colden and I, getting to chat about this. We were friends from earlier and we're like, hey, we can turn this into something. But look at you and Todd. Look at why Todd's on the show. You guys met online. Have you guys even met in person before?
Nope.
Hope to in Vegas. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the point where it's like, you don't need to go to college for this, but like, if you can find, I mean, that's where Cooper
That's
and
correct.
Curry Barker met, was in film school, but then they dropped out and just did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, you know, the thing that you can say bugs me is that there's only 2 classes and it's an or, right? 307, the digital audience, and then 4, meaning this is your senior year. You're learning media entrepreneurship or freelance and contract work in media. Like, it's not to your senior year that you're actually like starting to understand the business of it. And that where I find so many people falter is that, which is what we kind of started off right here. If you're going to start a university, what would it be? It would be, you know, not a lot about on cameras, but how do you keep clients happy? And there are so many people I know who have large accounts who make no money because they don't understand business. They understand attention, fine. But like, you don't understand business. And so either you need to find somebody and partner with somebody who does, or you have to learn it yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Todd, because you haven't gotten a rant.
Yeah. The problem with this curriculum is that what it is setting up false expectations at the other end of this. Once I have my degree, I will instantly be a success on YouTube. I can show you, I can tell you the only way I can say that I can guarantee you will be a success on YouTube. Be an insanely beautiful girl, morally ambiguous, talk about any topic, and you will be famous. That's the surefire guarantee. How and the crazy part is
okay, I'm going to say one caveat to that. I don't disagree.
You could be an insanely good looking man too, but the audience are small.
The niche product at that point.
The niche, because we've talked about our demographics and we are nerds. I have 97% male audience. I thought talking to Sophie, well, that will help me broaden that out. She, as a female creator, has an 80+% male audience. So let's just be clear.
But that's also in the space we're in. We're in a much more male-driven space. Yeah. But I do want to say this though, because look, as much as we like to shit on this, which is of course it's an obvious thing to shit on, but there is one thing is if you actually started a YouTube channel and you were consistent with the YouTube channel for 4 years.
Yes.
You actually spent your entire college focused on one YouTube channel, one podcast, one something, a TikTok for 4 years straight. Then you would be successful. You would increase. Most of the reason why people fail on social media is because they start, they stop, they start, they stop, or they start and then they stop altogether.
Yeah.
And then maybe a year later, they do it again. Speaking from personal experience.
And no college debt either. Just do the job. You know, again,
if you need an external source to kind of kick your butt, you know, and have friends to do it with, if you're in a space like that, that's my only, you could say, advantages to this, is that you're going to be with like-minded people to build that community to be able to do it. There's a
YouTuber who, and sorry, Colden, I bring her up all the time. She should start giving us a kick. Tamara Gabriel, who started a thing where it's called Make the Damn Video, and it's a 30-day challenge. It's free. You go on with her, and she gives you a topic, and you just make a video every day for 30 days. That's how you learn this. And then she's got a community, and she's built a community of people over there who are all doing the same thing and commenting on each other and helping each other, like, oh, well, you should try this or that. And what you just said, if you spent all of that time and no money just making the videos, you would get there, because that's what does it, is the repetitions. What is that? That thing for like how you become a master, right? 10,000 hours at something. Yeah. That's what this is. There's no school for this.
My only other concern on this program, and obviously none of the three of us are enrolled, but there is something deeply dangerous in my mind about developing a career that's built around an algorithm and a tech company that you have no control or understanding in, right? Like we're constantly, as anybody that's on a platform trying to be a creator on a social media platform, you are chasing for what's new in the algorithm, how the algorithm can help you get discovered. You don't have any ownership in that or control. And what does a social media influencer do if social media landscape shifts in 2, 3, 4 years? We haven't seen the downside social media events of AI yet, in like the most negative ways. But I've seen, I mean, Jake, we've talked about it on the show. We've talked about it offline. I've watched a whole bunch of people talk about how you can optimize your day by having a Claude scanner to scan social media and find things that are interesting for you. And then the other side of that is having a Claude influencer to go out and make posts for you. The like dystopian dream, fever dream in my head is in 5 years, you're going to have an AI robot that watches the content for you, and then an AI robot that makes the content for you. And nobody's going to be on any kind of social media anymore. It's all going to be this weird that's like such a weird pipe concern of mine. It's not a pipe dream. It's just it just feels like the days of, I posted my photograph on Instagram, which was just like a social platform of photographers, is now how to be an influencer, and everybody wants to be a micro influencer. And you're just like, are you not saturated in that market? And what skill do you walk away from that is 1000% yours, that is marketable if Facebook, Instagram, Google all go away?
What I would say is this: you have skills in videography, you have skills in, like, the guys who do it well have a couple different skills that I notice is storytelling, videography, editing, right? You have these skills of, but also it's marketing. Being an influencer at the end of the day is just marketing, because what is marketing is getting attention, getting and capturing attention, you know. But I think right here's a great comment is like, if Mr. Beast is teaching you this, that makes sense. But do these teachers have YouTube channels? Do they have TikTok followings? If they don't, and that was my biggest thing about film school, was, have you made a film? Are you a working filmmaker? Have you written a script? If not, how are you teaching me? Why are you teaching me? Like, what makes you qualified to teach me? Because you can teach? Like, it's an interesting thing. It's like, what is your technique? And so it's like the same thing with, you know, this degree. It's like, who are the teachers? Or how are they qualified?
You're going to love this, Jake. You'll appreciate this one. So when I was in college, for one semester. When I was in college, I was enrolled and accepted, and I was a part of the Kent State University fashion design program. That's where I wanted to be. And Kent State was a very affluent or influential school in fashion industry at that point. They brought in a speaker to this auditorium for all of us fashion kids. And one kid, this blew my mind, raised their hand and asked the guy, "Excuse me, sir, where did you go to school?" His answer was, "I didn't go to school. I got here on talent." Guess who quit the next semester? So, yeah, just doing the thing is what makes the change. Learning the basics is important. And I learned all my basics in this business from the guys at Film Riot. Thank you, guys. I mean, honestly, like
I think the best way to get experience, in my opinion, is say, I'll do it for free.
Yes.
Do it for free for every single person, or the specific niche you want to do, or if you don't know a specific niche, do it across niches. But that's the great thing is if you want to be an influencer, do it for free. Make videos, start a podcast, go work it, find any of the podcasts, find any influencer and say, "Hey, I want to get into the space. Can I learn from you? Can I help you? Do you have a shoot?" You know, like if somebody said, "Hey, can I shoot behind the scenes for you, Jake?" I say 100%. Come on set anytime you want. Shoot behind the scenes. Shoot. Give me an edit. I'll give you notes on it. I'm not going to pay you. You'll learn because you'll probably be shit, but that's fine. Your experience is that was what I did. I learned by just shooting stuff for free or really, really cheap.
I've had kids come on my sets do the same thing. And I said, "Yeah, please, if you want to, let's go. You can come learn."
So, okay, crazy news though. Did you guys see that HBO is launching a vertical integration in their mobile app? Like, what? HBO Max now has a freaking new mobile feature where they're going vertical. Oh my God. What is this world we're living in?
Sorry,
Todd. So they're
you know what?
calling it
Well,
HBO
a buddy of mine
Max Shorts.
A buddy of mine told me there's actually a guy, and I haven't found him yet, and maybe you guys have seen him, who has a whole channel. You'll appreciate this, Jake. And he's a vertical guy. And he goes, "What if all the classics were shot in vertical?" And he did cuts from Sopranos and changed it and used AI to extend the scenes vertically. And apparently it's awesome. I don't go ahead. I hate vertical video. This is where I live. I have a t-shirt for that.
So let me show you what it looks like. I mean, look, the UI is pretty clean, but I'm like, are you watching the whole show like this?
That's
so this
annoying.
Is their little
You're just getting clips.
GIF of it, right? And I'm like, are they playing a teaser of it? And then you click into the UI right here to watch season 1, episode 1, or add some or are you watching the entire thing like this? Is it more search bar? So
this is the problem.
But look at the UI. Home screen, verticals, saved, download, search. This looks very familiar. This looks very familiar. And then they have this whole new, search algorithm thing. Let's find something to watch, right? And then, best movie for girls' night in. And here's some options of what we have. Look, this is actually kind of a cool UI, but it's fascinating the world we're moving into. And, HBO is definitely, everybody's competing. YouTube, Netflix, HBO, they're trying to find the thing that sets them apart. And I just find
doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, right.
It's how do we get people to stay on our platform more? How do we get people to stay on our platform longer and easier? And how do we make the experience, and it's
that is an indictment of the American public, that it's too much trouble for me to do this and watch a movie. Because
I'm
you
going
know
to push
why?
back on you. I know you hate that.
Wait,
you hate that.
But well, let me answer.
Go ahead.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why this is a problem? Because I can't respond to texts and Instagram messages while I'm watching it this way. I'm no longer
Kind of
immersed
yes
in the
and
film.
kind of no. Kind of yes and kind of no.
All right, Colden,
So
what's your hot take on this?
let me give you a couple of thoughts. One, I'm going to take this off and show you the other thing that I had found, which is this is one of the things that frustrated me though about this new thing that HBO Max is utilizing. Because when you brought this to me, Jake, I thought, okay, they're actually producing content for vertical video. No, this the press briefing or press release says this clips are featured by a powered AI tool built in-house. So all it's doing is doing an Opus clip, basically. Warner Brothers built Opus clip that just goes and scans all of the HBO IP and recuts it into vertical. That I have an issue with that, because you're not actually producing anything for vertical. It's just everything that we've already done, which is clipping. Great, you've got clips and it'll drive you to the longer form, which is fine. What I thought was interesting, and I wish I had found it to pull it up. You guys can go find it if you're interested in it. Mr. Beast, to circle back to the last segment, Mr. Beast was on with Joe Rogan a while ago. He's been on a couple of times, but this is the most recent time that Mr. Beast came on Joe Rogan. And Mr. Beast was pushing Joe on the analytics of how many people watch their highlights on vertical video on TikTok. Like the growing amount of people that'll watch sports highlights, not the game, just sports highlights to figure out who won, what the best plays were on TikTok or on Instagram or on YouTube Shorts. And that is your ASU University magna cum laude professor is Mr. Beast, right? If anybody knows kind of the virality of the online ethos, I would say he's kind of figured it out. And he's saying, dude, most people are just watching these shorts.
Well,
so I
that we played many episodes ago, which there was, somebody from the Atlantic who was again stopped from their podcast on the street and was like, "Oh my God, I love your podcast." It's like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Where do you want it? Like, where do you listen? Like, where do you stream it?" He's like, "Oh, just the clips." And he realized, holy shit, we have to optimize not only for the long form, but make sure that we're optimizing for the short form. And just to double down on that really quickly, Subway Takes, the guy from it who literally are now nominated for an Emmy this year.
Yeah.
Designed their show around shorts. He talks about it all the time in his interviews. He's like, look, we know some people will go to the long form, but most people go get the clips. So we designed our show around clips. And what is the clip you always hear? What's your hot take? Boom.
Yeah.
Designed it around that.
And I think the old fart in us can easily say, well, it's because nobody has an attention span these days. Nobody's paying attention to anything. You can't hold your attention. But Matt pointed out, and it's totally right. Like, look here, like agreed. The Three Stooges wrote shorts. Yeah. I mean, they were very short clips of things. So I don't want to hate on an attention span deficit type of thing as much. It's been around. It's a good form of content, but to Todd, just to push on you or this idea of shorts.
Let me just respond.
I feel like we're like on Crossfire or something. This should be way more political than it is. It's just a camera talk. I need to talk. Okay.
I love you. Well, I
get it.
Shorts are fine. You know what shorts are? They're funny. They're funny and they're cute and they get your attention. I haven't seen one where I'm emotional. When I was a young man, one of the things that I think why I love this medium so much, I was just a kid. We were at Epcot and we were in, I think it was Japan, and they showed this expansive movie of these wild horses raging across. And as a jaded, like 13 or 14-year-old teenager, I cried. Like, this was so overwhelming. I was like, this is incredible. I want things I make to make you feel something. I can laugh at someone falling off a ladder. I can laugh at someone bonking someone in the head with a hammer, but I want someone to feel something, other than silly. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, so I'll jump in here. My wife and I had a long conversation yesterday, literally yesterday, about this and about the concept of fine art. And nothing on social media will ever be fine art.
Yes.
And look,
maybe
it's
that's
all
what I'm fighting.
And that's the thing. And it's totally fine. It's entertainment. But in the same thing, because we broke down, like I was breaking down, okay, great, because we just saw Odyssey, a day before. And we're like, that is fine art. And then now Spider-Man is coming out and we're seeing it this weekend. And we're like, but Spider-Man inherently isn't fine art. It's a step down to me. And again, it's all subjective, but I look at there's kind of a gradient scale. Yeah. It feels less fine art than
I will say though, but it was also shot in IMAX. And if you go to see that experience,
what makes it, but what makes it feel less fine art-esque, right?
Because it's pop art.
The Odyssey or Dune. Is because there's a bit more commercial behind it. Yeah. And look, this was just our opinion, what we came up with. Yeah. And I'm walking to some pushback. But basically, because then we looked at that, like there's some more commercialism. Let's get, Spider-Man toys and lunchboxes and this. You're not going to get, let me get the Odysseus, plush doll. Like, you're not going to do that. Like there's
I want the action figure. I want the Elliot Page action
you're not going to
figure.
get like, you're not going to get him with the bow, right?
Yeah, like the Odyssey has probably sold more copies than whatever the plush toy. Like in terms of, if you're talking just a monetary value over time, just as a commercial take.
No. Yeah. I'm not talking about, but I'm talking about the piece of art that Christopher Nolan made.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, for example, my wife is a massive fan of Friends, the TV show.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
And we're like, but why does that feel even less? Again, on a scale, less fine art. And I realized even in television, because they make money by keeping their retention. And again, up until streaming, made money to keep you to watch 3 commercial breaks or 4 or 5 commercial breaks, depending on how long the show was. And so they had to, and then you had to come back to watch it the next episode next week. That's how they made money.
But you make a very good point. And we're not arguing. We're all friends. I love you guys.
No,
you make a good point.
This was the heated discussion my wife and I were having last night.
She might appreciate this. I will say, when you saw guess what was the 8th, 7th character of Friends? The apartment. And the apartment gets lost in vertical format. The apartment.
That's what I'm saying. And then even below television is YouTube and social media. Yeah. Like, it's definitely not fine art.
I just lit up Colden. Go
I feel like here's the one benefit of Zoom. And we were kind of, couple segments ago, we were talking about upgrading the studio and not being on a Zoom call. I just want the hand raise feature of Zoom. Can I talk, please? You guys are funny. I love that. This is a really great debate here. Jake, you pointed out that fine art will always be subjective. What you think is fine art, I might not. I think that my only disagreement in this whole kind of thesis is just, and I guess it's agreement as well, but you can't, it sounds like fine art is moody, emo, sad, tense, and the more happy, funny comedy is now can't be fine art. That's commercial, which I don't think is right, but that's a fair way of kind of feeling it. Or
it's it's kind of a group agreement of society, and that's more like look.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think but again, it's like what you said. It's subjective.
I don't think like that, but that's kind of what I've seen as the ethos of Western culture.
But I also don't think it's format, because Todd, you had brought up this expansive IMAX, but I've seen some stuff that's shot on iPhone, for iPhone in 16:9 that I would say, this is beautiful. It's really well lit. It's well directed. It has a great story. I would consider that fine art. In my opinion, I would look at that and go, that's a beautiful story that they just told on a phone. I could watch that on the phone.
Wait, 16 by 9 or 9 by
100%.
16?
16 by 9. Now,
Okay.
now to your last point though about Friends and losing the apartment in vertical, and this has just been my push and my argument for all of this, and my complaint will tie it back into HBO, is that you're talking about a show that was shot in 4:3 for I think most of the show.
Yeah.
And you know it best on 16 by 9 because you watch it on a television screen. It was never shot composed for 9 by 16, the same way we've seen all the memes that Christopher Nolan shot on 70 millimeter IMAX. That was the format that the art was intended to be perceived as. What I don't like, and what I agree that I don't think will ever feel particularly artistic, is taking a 16 by 9 image, cropping it down, calling it a short, and saying this is art. I think that you can make really compelling and emotional art for 9 by 16 vertical video, but you have to shoot it and compose it that way. And I'll throw it back to, because I know you're an artist and you're a painter. No one would ever tell you, Todd, that a canvas can only be 16 inches this way by 9 inches this way. If you wanted to draw a beautiful picture of a woman standing up against
the most famous painting of all time, arguably, is
the Mona Lisa would be not even vertical though. That'd be like 4:3.
One of my favorite canvas sizes is this. Canvas size
9 by 16.
Oddly,
that looks like 231.
Yeah.
One of my I like to paint. I like to paint panels. So you make a good point.
Vertical anamorphic. That's where we're going. Vertical anamorphic.
Cinescope, I believe.
You make a very good point. If the shot was planned for it, I'm going to say two things. Now, first of all, I appreciate that you think I'm that young. I used to watch that on my 27-inch TV, no, maybe 32-inch 4:3 TV, and I loved Friends and the apartment that they were in all the glory of standard definition.
4:3, right?
4:3. However, I think the problem for me is the way the human vision works, and so like watching on a stick, I don't feel as immersed as watching it wide. I like wide. That's just it's a preference thing, I guess, really. Like the stick is sort of like, this is what I do when I'm on the toilet. And this is what I do when I want to see art. So those are two different things to me.
I don't disagree. It's a fascinating thing. And, and looking at this is clearly a new marketing tool that HBO was trying to allow people to better trailerize their content and get it in a format that people are used to be able to go, oh, okay, I like this. I don't like this.
Yeah. The only thing I was disappointed in reading that article is because what I'm excited to see is more of the vertical art form that can rationalize Todd into going like, oh no, this is great.
Well,
now we have such little of that.
So that's Quibi, that came and went. That was Quibi. Kind of.
I mean, TikTok came out of these little vertical shorts too. I'm just saying,
true.
If HBO took this, and maybe this is the next iteration of it, but if HBO took this and on set shot a trailer or shot a few scenes, shot in vertical, the same way Todd would paint on that vertical canvas, you would compose it and you would have one deleted scene or one extra scene or one teaser of an upcoming episode that was shot, composed, directed for, acted in vertical, and that goes onto your vertical feed, then all of a sudden you don't feel the same weirdness as just cropping, because you're right, you lose a lot. You wouldn't lose anything. The same way, would you say that I guess if you go and see The Odyssey on a normal theater, you are losing detail, even though it's not like 16 by 9, even though it's a, 235 to 1 or whatever,
probably,
whatever that theater is at, people are arguing to say, go see the higher vertical version of it. It's not vertical video, but it's taller
still, I would rather square.
It was directed for that.
I think one by one, like as Jay Fana says, that the problem with going to the school is by the time they're out 4 years later, all of this could be moot. And we might be watching one by one because foldable phones are a thing that are happening. And one by one might be the future. And I'd be more one by one than 9:16 because one by one gets us back to 4:3 and more like our natural vision.
We're all just going back to open gate, baby. Open gate.
I love open gate. Let's go. I like open gate. I'm fine for
boys.
that.
This was a fantastic episode. Some very spirited debates.
I enjoyed this. This was a blast.
This was a lot of fun.
This was great. Love how we ended it on a heated moment. Well, we have some cool stuff for next week. We're going to be diving into cine lenses versus photo lenses. We're talking about that. Talking about Spider-Man and premium large formats and IMAX. Is IMAX actually going to save the film industry and the movie industry? It just might.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a lot of fun. And so this has been the Creative Lens. Todd, shout out your channel because we don't have your things. So
Todd is in the video description if you want to go follow him right now. But
please, it's
Todd
just at Todd Video, one word.
Todd Video.
Yep. So go here.
Love.
Yep. Go here.
Appreciate you guys.
Go hit subscribe.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate
Todd,
you coming and hanging out with us.
You're becoming a series regular, as they say.
I would like to, let's just all the time. Jake, you have to come on the show.
And I feel a little insulted. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't been invited to your show yet. So
you're open invite, buddy. Let's go.
I love it.
And guys, everybody that was watching too, I'll just shout out because we got a lot of great comments this time, and that's the most fun part of getting to do this really live. So thank you guys that stuck with us, came out, hung out, and contributed to the show. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Jay Fana. A lot of fun. And with that, I'm Jake.
I'm Colden.
Colden and
Todd. I'm Todd.
Love it.
This is fun. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
See you guys.
See ya.